All right, guys, we're over at my desk taking a closer look at a product that I just got in for the AVATA 360. As many of you guys already know, the clearance on this drone is very, very low in comparison to a lot of the previous drones that we have looked at and flown. So I found a few accessories that I think for the most part will add additional landing height as well as additional prop protection, or should I say duck protection for this. Now I've used similar products for my AVATA 2 and also my Neo 2. So let's start off with the landing feet. So this is what you receive. These seem to be 3D printed. So let's take a look at them. So they're individual little 3D printed landing feet, and you guys can see they have the dimensions to fit perfectly over the framing underneath. So this is what they look like. I don't know how well this is going to translate, but it comes with 4 of those. Now these are very, very lightweight. Yes, very lightweight. So I'm looking for any inconsistencies. Like some of these have the circle and then 2 don't. So I want to assume that's there for a reason, but there's no instructions inside of the packaging to determine which is which. So I'm going to go with the principles of, the way that the propellers are used here are marked. So as you guys can see, we have the markings for the propellers. So this is with, and this would be without. So that's what we're going to kind of go with. Now, if you look at these just basically fit over like that, and then just clip on like so. And now you have it attached, right? So we're just going to go through and attach all 4 of those to this, and I just want to make sure that I'm going. So that should be without here as well. So let's grab this second one. All right, as you guys can see, I'm already dropping things, but the second one is just going to pop on here as well. All right, so that's the 2 without. And then we have our 2 with the circular pattern on here. I really don't know if these actually have any meaning, but I'm just going to follow along with logic. All right, so those have clipped on. I don't feel much give, but you can remove these if necessary. All right, that's on there pretty tight. And then we're going to end up with something that looks like that. So now we have these small little landing feet. That's going to give us a little bit more clearance whenever we're landing. I still always recommend using a landing pad. That's just a must-have for this drone. But as you guys can see with this on, that gives us quite a bit more distance, for this. All right, so the second thing that came in this little bundle is going to be the duck protectors. And you get 2 of those, also 3D printed, and they're just going to clip right onto the ducks as well. And obviously these should be very easy to attach. So let's start on this side. And let's see if there's any indicators of anything that should be, because this little area that protrudes out here. I'm just kind of testing these based on what I can see for the structure. So that should go there, then here, and so on. All right, there we go. So that's completely clipped on. That's going to add just a little bit more protection. And then we're going to apply the second one to it. Basically the same way. These just clip on. Make sure it's completely clipped on all sides. So you guys can see how far it protrudes over the frame. And that's going to be the same underneath. It gathers here and along this line. So that's what I was looking for, is this cutout right here to see where that was supposed to fit in. So we have this little area that protrudes right here. This goes into this little intake, and then around this little area here at the back. So that's what we have. So overall, this is pretty much it. We have our landing feet on here, and we also have now the additional bumper guards. But I see signs of 3D printing. You know, if you have a 3D printer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know which filament they use for this, but regardless, it should be very, very stable. Now, I've already seen someone who has tested these guards, duck guards, and they were able to fly in normal mode at very high speeds, and they weren't concerned. They said there was almost no drag. I am going to put this guy in the air just so we have, you know, something to look at. And yeah, this looks pretty good. All right, so let's take it out for a flight and see exactly what we get. Everything flew perfectly, no issues. Landing was good. I will most likely allow these to live for the most part on this drone for now. But yeah, if you guys are interested in a little bit of extra protection for your drone, especially for the new pilots out there, even though, yes, guys, this drone has 360-degree obstacle avoidance. It also has LiDAR, as we all know, but every bit of protection helps. You know, if you go out and buy a brand new phone, first thing you do is look for a case. Nobody wants to break their $1,500 phone, and I'm pretty sure no one wants to crash their $1,000 drone. So, you know, and from what I can tell, I don't see any way that this is interfering with the flight, because guys, you already know, many times we attach things to these drones in the past, like GoPros. We have a bunch of accessories where we can mount other things on these drones and they fly with it with no issues whatsoever. So the few little grams that this adds is not going to be a factor. I will throw on the screen what the gram weight is for these. And yeah, I'm impressed. All right, guys, it's been your buddy Rome with Rome Knows Tech, and I will catch you all in the next video. Fly safe. Until then, stay safe. Peace. I'm out.